Okay. Some water, some vitamins. Ugh. Got all this stuff out for lunch. Appreciate you guys for the likes. A little bit of magnesium, zinc, calcium. I usually have the resin, but not today. I don't want all those minerals right now. I don't have anything to dilute it in, really. Some magnesium. Gotta get more of this. And then we're gonna sit down, you guys. Ooh. Fuck. Oh no, that's still here still. Oh, I lost it. Appreciate you guys for the likes. Getting some vitamins right now. And I think we're what? 70. I think we're 77 away from hitting 500. We're so close now. I appreciate anybody and everybody who wanted to help us get to that goal. Even if they don't come watch us now. I have some stuff pulled out for lunch today. I have to hit at least 120 grams of protein. But going to try to go to at least try to get 140 if I can, while staying in my calorie range. I don't have a lot of things that are appropriate for my macros right now. I'm a little dry. Sorry, I put lotion on. So, I don't know. We might cook on Twitch today. And I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. Because all the stuff I have is like, it's inexpensive. It's for budget. I always hate that part in this mix. And I wanted to do a workout today. I wanted to do a workout today, and I wanted to, hello, I wanted to style my hair for Twitch. I wanted to get ready on there. I don't know. Also need to find a tote for the Christmas tree. It didn't fit in the box that we were trying to get yesterday. I've got a lot of stuff done though. I'm glad. I have to make a new list today. All the things I have to go to. I got every single thing I wanted to do yesterday done. Every single thing. So I'm happy about that. Where's my pen? Wait, come this way. We'll make a list. I don't know if that's too loud. Okay. I'm going to iPad. The girls got fed laundry. Let's see. I'll finish. Let's finish potting. To do Twitch VODs. Twitch clip. Edit. We have to Vigo. Hours. Hello. I'm trying to write a list, see what we need to get done today. Everything I wrote down yesterday when we were here, I got it all done. Oh yeah, find a bigger box for that tree. Oh, clean my room. Oh. Appreciate you guys for the likes. Oh. Hello, welcome. We're writing a list for all the things I got to get done today. Yesterday I got a lot done. Everything I set out to do, we did. And I still have a lot of chores I have to get done, and I'm not finished. Let's see. So I have to do 2 white clothes, towels, 1 colored, 3 colors for clothes, for laundry, sweep them off the kitchen dining room. We have to find a small box for those lights. Hello. And we have to do Pilates later. We're gonna style my hair. For Bigo, we're gonna come back and hang out on there after the workout. See, we need to find a bigger box in the garage for the Christmas tree. 1.5 doesn't work. It's too small. The tree doesn't fit anymore. Clean my room. I have to, well, I'll upload this video. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see how good it goes. We have to do Twitch. We have to upload that highlight to YouTube. We have to scrub for clips for YouTube and for Twitch. And hopefully I can be up more than 2 hours today. We have to finish potting. I have another plant that I need to put in the ground today. This aloe vera over here. I have to fold laundry and I have to charge the iPad, so. Hi, for anybody who's coming back to see me today. How are you guys? What are you guys gonna do today? I don't know what I'm gonna do next, True. Well, I wrote this list to figure what I was gonna do today, so I'm gonna do all that. See how much I can get done. We'll see. Oh, and then I have to eat in between all of that, so that too. But I really want to get this Christmas tree out of here, so I'm gonna start with that and laundry. And then maybe around 1 after I'm done doing everything, because I'm gonna have to stream here, Twitch, and Bigo. After the streaming, I'm gonna take a nap. I'm gonna take a nap. I need to. But I didn't have a topic today. I didn't have anything I wanted to talk about today. Not off the top of my head, I guess. But that's okay if you guys don't know what you're gonna do today. If you don't have anything you have to get done, then I guess it's more of an opportunity for you to just rest. So that's good. I guess I don't always feel good just being able to just rest, I guess. I don't feel rewarded necessarily. But if I could and relax, then I would. But I don't feel like I can truly rest right now these days. Appreciate you guys for the likes. Well, usually I have some sort of topic, but the last few times we were coming on, I just kind of let free thought occur, if that makes sense. So maybe we'll get somewhere if I just start talking. I feel bad sometimes, I guess, whenever it's just that. So feel free to interject, or if you have a question, or anything that you just like to get off your chest or say. You're also welcome to whenever you guys come in here. Hope you know that. If you like, of course, you don't have to. Feel free to chime in with your opinion. Earlier today, I was thinking about maybe, say if things probably worked out for me, you know, in a way I would start to feel maybe like my efforts would pay off, right? So I kind of thought of maybe me in that position to, what if it all worked out? You know, what if everything I was doing actually came to fruition? Then who would kind of be left? And it just kind of came to my mind whenever I was getting ready right before I got here. So, which I thought was odd, but sometimes I just have questions for myself, I guess. Or, you know, I just sort of think about the future, or sort of pondering, you know what I mean? So I don't find it to be an odd thing to think about, but I think it's certainly common for me to do that, analyze things. But I really thought of maybe who might be there. And I don't know, maybe my mom, you know, some of my very close friends. But I don't know. I don't really have too many people around me now that would probably doubt what I'm doing, doubt what I'm deciding to do with my life, or if they even really fully can grasp what I'm doing also with my life. I don't have very many people in my life who are extremely unsupportive now, thankfully, you know. But I also have a few friends that kind of watch. They may have their opinions about what I'm doing, but maybe they just don't feel inclined to voice them or warn me or advise me or give their maybe truest opinion, probably, you know. But by all means, on the surface, they are probably encouraging, you know. So I was thinking about that today, those kinds of friends, those kinds of people in my life. And I figured, well, they probably just can either believe I can really do it, or they might feel too afraid to, you know, pop the bubble that I might be in when it comes to being so deluded to want to chase a dream or push forward, if that makes sense. And I take it for what it is, you know, and regardless of that being a question in my mind or curiosity, I have already learned the lesson, the very hard lesson of knowing that you don't need anybody's support to do anything that you want to do. Just your own. And I only know that because whenever I was just starting my stream for Bigo, I didn't consult with anybody about me quitting my job at the time. I didn't ask people if it was a good idea. I didn't ask people if it made sense for my life or if it made sense for me or if it was really me. I didn't ask for anybody's opinion about anything I was doing at the time. And I only just focused all of that curiosity in myself and tried things within myself to perform better, to show up better, to cultivate an audience, to build a community, to just make sure I show up, to make sure it was engaging, and all of that effort I just put into my stream, you know. And before I knew it, you know, I had an opportunity to use the money I made to support myself solely, excuse me. And so I don't know why I thought of that this morning, but it was just more for, I wonder, you know. But regardless, I'm grateful that I don't need anybody to necessarily tell me that I can do something in order for me to feel like I can do it, if that makes sense. I don't really have a lot of true defining moments where my mom was able to really tell me she's proud of me, or if she did, it was kind of like maybe the most stereotypical reasons why you would say you're proud of somebody, maybe like graduating high school, you know? But other than that, not really, you know. My dad would tell me he was proud of me for any little thing, but I think that's also because he was just so probably grateful that I wasn't his negative traits or felt inclined to live my life like his. So I think he was just grateful. But I don't know if that turned into me being able to just do that for myself because of that. My apologies, I keep yawning. Turning that into giving me no option to motivate myself and practice discipline on my own and practice patience, knowing that my result might come far later than I'm anticipating, or being able to be diligent every day at the same thing, trying, knowing that a result is to come, a true result will pay off, analyzing if a result's even possible, you know, before I even really try. It wouldn't be aimless, but, you know, would have those feelings a lot, rather than someone telling me I need to be that way. Thankfully, nobody told me I was lazy, you know. I was never called lazy, and was never really told that I need to work on discipline. I was never told any of those things that I needed to have. Most of my advice was just like warnings of what people could do to you. But that's just kind of how my parents were. You know, their values were, they resided in, at the end of it all, being kind to people, you know. So, not a whole lot about finances or life, you know, until maybe I'd gotten a little bit older, but even then, nothing about really work. My mom always told me, no matter what you did, no matter what you want to do, just make sure you're happy doing it. And I remember when I first got my stability in my apartment from my stream, and my mom asked me if I was happy. And I said, yeah. And she said, well, that's all that matters. You know, she really didn't understand it. She didn't, so she still doesn't get it. Probably. I don't know, maybe a little more now since it's a little more popular, but I just remember her describing it like, you still talking to that camera? Kind of thing. So I was like, yeah, you know, she don't really get it, but she could recognize it was working. And I think it was mostly because I went out and got my apartment, and I told her, like, I'm moving out. Like, I was there temporarily for about 3 months when I had to come back home, when I had nothing. I had to start all over again. And I was about 23 then. And I got my apartment in October. And I think the look on her face was more just like, you know, oh, like, you're putting a lot of effort into that thing, apparently, you know. So, but of course she didn't really have anything to say. But I know she was grateful that I could support myself. So I think that's kind of where it comes from, that feeling of just knowing I can push myself in all I want to be able to do with my life. I can push myself through being tired, hopefully, through sadness, and maybe even a little bit of frustration. Whatever it means, so long as I get it done. And definitely grief. Loss, you know. But I think that's how I've always been able to deal with grief. I've always took it to the gym. Loss in general. Put it into efforts that were for myself. And a lot of my efforts, parallel to me working on my stream, were fueled through grief anyway. So at the same time, I was simultaneously working on my Bigo or working on my stream. But who knows if I would have had as much drive? Who knows if I would have maybe felt like I could more so then if my dad didn't pass away, you know. So I don't know, really. I'm not sure. But it worked out nonetheless. And thankfully it's still working out, you know. But I guess that's kind of what I was thinking about earlier. I wonder if anybody watching me might feel like they need my support or anybody's support, you know. I would hate for someone to come in here feeling like they need to ask somebody or me if they need to do so and so with your life or do X, Y, and Z with their life. if it's a good idea, you know. Which is a weird question, because I mean, what defines as a good idea? I think that's subjective. So, whatever you want to do with your life. Is it a good idea if you get there very quickly? Is it a good idea if you make the most amount of money? Is it a good idea if you're not hurting anybody along the way? Is it a good idea if you're scamming somebody? Or is it a good idea? I don't know. I don't know. It's not my life. And that might be silly. Is it a good idea because you thought of the idea on your own? Is it a good idea because no one else is doing it? You know, is it a good idea because you've seen it work out for other people? Is it a good idea because you're really good with people and it's something along the lines of that? So, I don't know. I think if you want to do that and you see yourself doing that for the rest of your life, then I think it's a good idea. Me, what do I want to do for the rest of my life? I want to make sure that my life has some sort of meaning to somebody. That maybe it might have helped somebody to know that whatever I went through and what I've learned from it just might have helped somebody. But that's all, really. So, yeah, if you're hearing that and you need to run something by somebody, just know that no matter what answer you receive when you ask, it's pointless. Because at the end of the day, I think everybody knows that you're just going to do what you want to do, even if it's prolonged. And if you are so quick to change your mind, maybe you didn't want it enough. Or maybe what you want to do is just to be able to follow in someone else's footsteps, and there's nothing wrong with that either. Or you are unfamiliar with the subject. Maybe you need to do more research on what exactly your end goal requires, what it's going to take. Sometimes there's things like this, like where it's streaming, where it kind of feels open-ended. I mean, I feel like I'm going to be successful, but do I really know how or what I need to do in order to get there? Not really. I'm trying every day. I know progression in terms of viewership matters and a plethora of other things, but other than that, I mean, it doesn't feel linear by any means. All of it, really. A lot of it is knowing how to make sure to keep going, how to make it keep going, you know. So, I never want anyone to feel like they need support, because they don't. That's what I mean by it's pointless. You don't need support for any of the dreams or the ideas that you have that you want to accomplish. You don't need anybody's approval. You can ask for fun, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. They're going to have opinions on what you're doing, and usually people answer subjectively based on the context of themselves in that position, and if they see themselves doing it, and then might be comparing themselves to you and thinking less of you, to then say, you probably can't do it either. Who knows? You know, especially if a lot of it's skill-based, then I think, yeah, it's possible. Especially if a lot of what you're doing is skill-based, or setting out to do is surrounded by skills. So yeah, you can definitely cultivate skills and get better at those. And I think at that point it's a good idea, but to ask somebody, I think, is a silly thing personally. I grew up in a very judging family. Projection of fears kind of family. So I learned very quickly not to share a lot because it would be judged, minimized, discouraged, encouraged, shit on before it's even complimented. Many other things. So I stopped sharing with them all the things I'm going to be doing unless they ask me, you know, because I realize how what kind of criticism I'm able to be receptive towards, and sometimes the one closest to me, people who are considered supposed to be loving me, it's hard to receive whenever tonality doesn't match up, or when it almost makes it feel like a little bit uncomfortable to know that maybe the advice they might be giving you are complete opposite of the lives that they're living themselves, or the abilities or skills that they have themselves, you know. So it becomes a little confusing. It doesn't feel like a solid place to receive advice from, you know. It can feel that way. I say take advice from people who you want to live by, who are living those lives actively. So don't take it from me, because I'm certainly not where I want to be yet. But I've just tried to do that, tried to find role models in other places. Thankfully, I was able to recognize that, and I was able to think for myself at a young age. Otherwise, I'd be just like my family, I think, just like them, and I'd be miserable like they are, you know, to some degree. If it's not, you know, regular things that happen in life, we all experience loss and grief, and we all love somebody, and, you know, life gives us those feelings and lessons, but to minimize joy, you know, and substitute it for just excitement, I think that's unfortunate, and I watch them do that a lot. So I didn't ask for their opinion. I didn't ask for their opinion on anything I was doing, really. So, but they wanted an opinion so badly, so I just let them ask, you know. I let them ask, and I let them be curious. I do everything for myself. I don't feel the need to be bragging. I don't feel the need to be forcing my ideas with them, on them, or my art or anything like that in a braggadocious way. It's just not my style. Not really something I care for, you know. Anything I say on here, it's for myself. So if you relate to it or you appreciate it or like it, I'm grateful, you know. But sometimes I'm referencing conversations, sometimes it's thoughts that I think about other people might be having, you know, curiosity into the lives of some other people, you know, being a little sympathetic towards that. My lived experiences I talk about and things like that, but, you know, I've just always been a very take it or leave it kind of person, and I think that if somebody really was confused, they would ask. This is why I take those opportunities to answer them when it comes to the curiosity that my mom might have about my stream, or, you know, or my families might be curious about the fact that I'm able to support myself and I just have an online job or something like that. That's what they think about it. So I think people with such a narrow perspective at that point, you know, they're not even educated on it, They don't want to be. They're not in that sort of frame or realm of that space, you know. I say the same thing about people who are interested in business, or they're interested in the topics or hobbies that you are. You know, it's kind of like having like a dead-end conversation. You're just going to be the one educating the whole time, rather than having an exchange where you learn from somebody. So I just don't feel inclined to talk about things that people have no idea about with people that they have nothing. I have no idea what I'm talking about, you know. So otherwise, it would just go in one ear out the other. So if people are curious, I'll answer. You know, I'll answer what they have to say or ask me. But other than that, it feels pointless, if that makes sense. So that's why I don't ask. Because I'd be asking people who have no clue. They wouldn't even have a glimpse into what I'm even asking. They wouldn't even know if they could give me the right or wrong answer, you know. So if I did have to ask ever, I would ask somebody who's educated on the subject. So you don't need my support. You don't need anybody's support for anything that you want to do. It's just what I've just always been flying by the seat of my pants, doing whatever I wanted, you know. Whatever that meant for me that day, especially when I was younger. Because, baby girl, when you not stressed about bills, love, you're not thinking about that. You're not thinking about the limitation that you might have with your art or your craft, or the impediment that you might be experiencing. It doesn't happen. You don't feel that way. You don't feel like there's a blockade in the road or anything like that. You just get up and create. And I want to make more space for that with the life that I'm building. I want that to be the case. So, and to make sure that whatever I have to offer, whether it be yapping on here or my streams, that it means something to somebody and it saves someone somewhere. And yeah, you don't need anybody's fucking help. You don't need anybody's help. And certainly not any advice on whether or not you should do something or not. It's kind of like asking someone to guide your life for you. You have a long life. It's very fast and it's very short, but a year is long enough for you to try and fail and survive the next year without very much changing, you know. I've learned a lot, and I'm 27, you know, and I've seen a lot. But talk to any of my friends, they would probably tell you, like, she's educated on subjects, she has so many hobbies, she's an interesting person, she's very different, she's unlike somebody I've ever met, she's kind, you know. Try to be that way by just being you. Be you and follow what you like to do. Even if it means no one likes it. And even if it means no one wants to do it. Or even wants to participate in it the way you are. You know, everybody has to find their own way. Some way. Everybody has different values. They prioritize other things over the things you might. Sometimes it takes people to get to the same spot a lot longer or shorter than one another, even though we go into the same place. Which one's going to be learning more along the way? So I'm glad to go slow and learn a lot. That way, whenever my efforts pay off and I might receive what I finally am asking for, or what I'm finally striving for, that it becomes something that I really appreciate. And I understand all my trials of, you know, humility and all these things, being raised in a very humbling environment with a lot of people to humble you about life, you know. And I'm grateful that I got those harsh lessons, and that people talked to me the way they did, and that they maybe withheld a lot that they did from me. Maybe even I'm even grateful to know what neglect is, to then know what love is, you know, all those things. So I'm okay with that. I think it's made me a very strong person, a very self-assured person. And if anything, very relaxed at this point. So much that will surprise me at this point, which I'm glad about, you know, and I'm glad I don't live in fear. I'm glad I can understand what fear is now, you know, except for the dentist. I feel like I get queasy about the dentist, man. But other than that, you know, I really think that, especially at this day and age in my life, and especially every day that I've been waking up, just for the last 6 months, I feel like I've just been so assured that my efforts will pay off. I've been able to find what fulfills me in life other than all of my hobbies, but it's the result of what's happening, you see. So results of just what I like to do are what fulfill me. The results being that it matters to somebody, it has helped them in their life, it's changed their life, helped people find their way, inspire them to find their way, inspire them to pursue something that's just for them, or inspire true creation in them, whether it be just a new idea in their life, a new way of living their life, whatever it may be. And I think that's beautiful, you know, to have lives, other lives come to fruition and not just mine, just having more of a trickling effect, that me sharing enough that I want to share that day, or a lot, is help somebody in some way, or even use me as a mirror or compare me to themselves, to then say, if maybe this random woman can do it, then maybe I can, you know. And if that's all it took, you know, then okay, you know. Well, I'll see you guys later. Have a good day. Be easy. Love you. Bye.